This episode is brought to you by FX's Feud, Capote versus the Swans. Inspired by actual events, the series tells the story of Truman Capote and the women he betrayed. The original housewives. They were society's most elite women. Rich, glamorous socialites who defined a bygone era of high society New York. From creator Ryan Murphy, this drama series features an all-star cast, including Naomi Watts, Demi Moore, and Diane Lane. FX's Feud premieres January 31st on FX Stream on Hulu.
Brooks Running has a new shoe for you runners out there. Did you hear that? Better turn up your volume. In fact, turn it up to the max. Introducing the all-new Ghost Max. It's got all kinds of things to make your knees and ankles feel protected, like Max Cushion, Max Soft Landings with DNA Loft V2 foam, and Max Smooth Rides with their Glide Roll Rocker. Feel better on your run with Ghost Max. Learn more at brooksrunning.com.
This is Central Texas Living with Ann Harder.
She's been known as the woman without a face. 17 years ago, her boyfriend fatally shot her mother, Janice Reeves, in the abdomen, and then Carolyn Thomas point blank in the head, taking about 80% of her facial structure. But Carolyn Thomas is an overcomer. She's living her life with faith, grace, and optimism, and it is a tremendous joy and an honor to welcome her here to Central Texas Living, the podcast. Carolyn, it is wonderful to see you. And we have an added treat. Sister Ann Rainey is here too. Sister Rainey, good to see you.
Yes, ma'am. Good to see you too.
And you are part of her support structure.
Yes.
Where, driving her here.
Yes.
And how long have you two known each other, Carolyn?
And you introduced me to Mount Zion and to Sister Rainey.
Okay.
So ever since then, I've been there,
All right.
It's a long time.
Obviously, I've slept since that happened. Remind me how all that worked about.
We were going to do an interview or something. And you said, well, do you have a church home? And I said, no. I had went and visited a couple of churches. And she said, well, you might want to try Mount Zion. And I did, and I've been there since.
Well, it is a precious fellowship. I've had the opportunity to go and sing several times, Sister Rainey.
Yes, beautifully.
Oh, what it means so much to you, though, to have this support system for you.
Yes, it's really good. Sister Rainey, which I call her now Mama Rainey.
Yeah.
She thinks about me, during the holidays. Have you ate? Do you need anything? You need a ride? So she's been awesome and amazing. The whole family has.
Well, without spending a whole lot of time going back to that night, December 5th, I think it was, 2003. Your boyfriend at the time, he was really strung out on the weirdest thing. He was smoking a dope soaked in formaldehyde or something. I mean, crazy.
Yeah.
And it in truth made him crazy. But you dated him a long time, since 1992. I think you were introduced to him. But you saw signs along the way that there was a real problem with domestic violence.
I think one of the signs that, I think about, and because I watch a lot of crime shows now, and they say that people that harm pets, can be serial killers. And I happened to be going through his drawer and seen it was Polaroid, and he had shot a cat.
Oh.
And I just thought, wow, that's crazy. But, I didn't know that was like a really big red flag.
But about 3 years into your dating relationship, he did physically come after you.
Yes. He was very jealous. Wanted me to dress a certain way or hang out with certain people. So when I didn't do that, he got angry.
Yeah, and of course that night it was a horrible situation. He was just out of his head, psychotic. And you and your mom, your precious mom, was there. You trying to calm him down, but he had a weapon.
Yeah, he had a weapon. Actually, the weapon, I believe it was either in the top of the closet or under the bed. It was a gun that he had before he went to prison. So I didn't know what he had did with it. I just left it in the shoebox and, never thought about it again until that night.
Oh my goodness. Well, and of course that night he shot your mom in the abdomen, and then he held the gun to your head.
Yes.
And it took 80% of your
80%
face.
of my face. Yeah, I took the right eye, the nose, the top lip, basically almost half of my left side of my face.
Now that night, a neighbor had already called police because
Yes.
was firing some shots, and so people heard that, and so first responders are there. Your mom's still alive, and she says, "See about my daughter," and of course you were so gravely wounded. I think they thought
I was dead.
Yeah.
At least I think it's Officer Graham that stepped over me, and then he came back and stepped over me again, and that's when I grabbed his ankle.
and that was a shock to him.
Oh yeah, it messed him up.
Yeah, well, so they get you in, and of course, sadly, your mom passed away. She was too gravely
Yes.
injured. But as a mom, she was thinking of you first.
Yeah, she was, because her the reason how she passed out in the corridor, she was trying to get a neighbor to call 911. And I'm not mad at any of my neighbors or angry with any of them. If someone knocked on my door and there were gunshots going on, I would definitely call 911, but I'll be kind of sketchy about opening the door.
Yeah. Yeah. You had horrific facial injuries. No doubt about that. And so as your medical team, let's talk about the amazing things that have happened since.
Yes.
I mean, initially you had a dozen surgeries.
Yes,
And
I
of
call
course,
them the dream team.
the Dream Team, and they're at Methodist
Yes.
in Houston.
Yes.
And I think I didn't really understand, but your doctor,
Dr.
let's-
Alfred?
Yeah, right. He was a part of a national organization that helps people who have had similar situations where that.
It's called Face to Face.
Yeah, tell me about that.
Face to Face is an organization that if you have a need for reconstructive surgery, and they'll give it to you from the neck up.
So he's a member of this organization.
Right.
You come in with probably the worst case he's ever seen. I'm guessing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's not just to get you in a good position, but they know this is going to be long term. This is the rest of your life. They'll be caring for you.
Yes, they have been all of 2019 from March until maybe September, October. I was having surgeries that whole year. I had got an infection, and we were trying to, get the infection and, get the eye together. And so, yeah, we had to do it a couple of times.
It's the kind of thing, though, that they're family to you now, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right, those medical professionals.
Especially Dr. Alfred. He
Yeah.
thinks he's my dad. But I love him to death. And if I ever get married, he said he was going to walk me down the aisle. So if that happens,
my goodness.
I'll be excited about that.
Well, you need to talk to Mia Thomas. I had her on, and she's kind of spoken to existence, her fiance. So you chat with her about that. But I read a wonderful article by Shanley Pearson, Texas Medical Center News. He was reporting your situation, and in it he quoted Dr. Alford as saying there are parts of the body meant to be used as spare parts. The middle 3/4 of the fibula has no function. I didn't know any of this. He says it doesn't bear weight, doesn't do anything. So he was able to take that bone and really remake a cheekbone,
yes.
right?
Mm-hmm. They did an awesome job. If anyone has ever seen the photos before I started surgery, up until now, I mean, it's amazing.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's just ready to weigh in on this.
And so, they did an awesome job.
In fact, they kind of call it the 10-foot test.
Yes,
Tell me
that's what
about that. What is that?
The 10-foot test is where you can be 10 feet away from like a family member or a friend, or you could just be walking, and they can't tell that you've had surgery.
Mm-hmm.
So from 10 feet away, I look normal.
Yeah. So it's a prosthetic though that
Mm-hmm.
you can take off, right?
Yeah, my nose is a prosthetic,
Mm-hmm.
and every year I go down to MD Anderson and get a new one. And
Really, every year? I don't
every
think I knew
year.
it was that often.
Every year I get to go and get a new one. So I've had the ladies that do the nose. Oh my gosh, they've been with me the whole time.
Yeah, again, more family members,
Yes,
I guess.
yes, more family.
So, and this is free. This has not been any cost to you.
No. With the surgeries with Dr. Alfred, like I said, face to face, took care of the reconstructive surgery from the neck up, and he just got a heap load of doctors to come in that were special in the things that they did. Like Dr. Soap Parker, his thing is the eye.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's Dr. Cohen. He did the dental implant. So everybody had a little job to do.
Right, right. And if we could talk just a little bit about Terrence, what
Mm-hmm.
happened with him?
He is in prison. He got 2 life sentences, so he has to do like 60 years before he can even come up for parole. But I'm not even worried about that because he's not getting out.
No. Has there been any contact?
No, he has not contacted me. But
Not tried to
some-
make amends or
No,
anything like that?
No, because we were going to do a thing with Oprah, and I think they went to the prison and spoke with him. And like I said, some of his friends reach out to me, and it kind of scares me that, they're like, oh, well, can I have your number, or can I come by? And I'm like, no.
Mm-mm.
I don't want to associate with any of his friends and his family either, I guess.
Right. Well, of course, this was you were an national figure for sure because of what happened and how doctors have been able to help you. But you were on Larry King.
Oh, yeah,
And
Larry King.
What was that experience like?
Oh, I love Larry. I wish he was still on. He's a sweetheart.
And you were on Oprah's
Yes.
show, as you
Mhm.
mentioned.
Oprah show. Yeah, I think I did her show maybe 2 times, I think.
And there was a documentary done as well. Let's talk about that.
Yes, the documentary was called Plastic Surgery Before and After. And Dr. Jan, I can't think of his last name, but Dr. Jan was like the narrator. And they filmed my first 6 surgeries. So
Wow.
those were the rough ones. The first 6 were rough.
Mm-hmm. And so that's all been documented, and so now folks can. I'm sure physicians have studied this case, and
Yeah. And Dr. Alfred, he takes his work to conferences and things like that. So I'm kind of excited about, if the Lord says so, moving to Houston in July. And I'll be able to attend some of those conferences as well and speak about, what he did.
Well, let's talk about what lies ahead. And the reason I got in touch with you right away is that I saw you're thinking about moving, and I thought I've got to get Carolyn on Central Texas Living podcast before you get away. So,
Yeah.
What will you be doing in Houston? What do you see?
Well, I'm going to team up with this other organization. I don't want to say their name right now, but
Okay.
we're going to team up and do some amazing things. We've already got 2 houses for women and children of domestic violence, so it's looking good. And I'm just still in Waco.
Yeah, and you did found an organization. Let's
Yes.
talk about Voices for All, your
Yes.
foundation.
Yes, Voices for All. Here in the past, through the years of being here, my organization has only been able to do like school supplies, uniforms, Pampers, and those things.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get out and venture out and do a whole lot more. I know there's more that I can do.
So you have had a great platform to talk to women.
Yes.
What is the takeaway? What is it you want them to understand from what you've gone through and really are still going through?
I just want them to understand that if he hits you one time, he is definitely going to hit you again. I don't know if it's tomorrow or next month, but it's going to happen. And when it does, I need for them to come up with a safety plan. on how to get out of that relationship.
Sister Rainey, I'm sure,
Yes.
you know, in your ministry and working with families, you've seen similar kind of situations. You know, tell me, you know, your thoughts on this.
Well, my thoughts on this is God always have a ram in the bush. And only thing we need to do is just yield to him, and he'll take care of us. He has taken care of Carolyn and a lot of other women, and they really need someone to talk to and to express themselves.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of years ago, the women at the church had a dinner down in Belton at Dead Fish Restaurant, I believe, on the
yeah.
lake.
Yeah, Dead Fish Grill, yeah.
Yeah. And we all got together, and it was just, we sit up and let each other know what we have gone through, because what I go through is different from what you go through. And instead of keeping it to ourselves, we sat around, we had dinner, and it was magnificent. We had a marvelous time. We cried, we prayed, and it was just women saying, I didn't know that other people was going through this. So we really need a voice out to let them know about domestic violence, about husband abuse, men being abused.
Yeah, men are as well.
Yes. And instead of keeping it to ourselves, men is not going to, excuse me, men is not going to express themselves as women do. They are holding in. But if one person would just say, yes, I'm in this, I know what you're going through, that's all the other person need to know.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's the isolation, Carolyn. You said he was very controlling, wanted to keep you from, probably keep you from friends and to
family.
keep you isolated.
Yeah, definitely. But when we moved in together, that's when I really found out that he was really jealous. And that would be probably the first time that he hit me. And I was just like, wow, like, what was that about? I was initially on the phone with an ex-boyfriend that was married at the time. And we just kind of kept in touch with each other.
Yeah.
You know, like, what are you doing? You know, how the kids, you know, that type of thing. And he just couldn't believe, you know, that you can have a friendship with a man that you used to date.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. So with that warning sign, you know, what, in retrospect, would you have just, you know, said, this guy he's a problem? Or is it that I can change him? You know, if he just loved me more, he would never hit me again.
Yeah, you know what? And that was one of the things that I said. In the beginning, he was really nice. We had, you know, good times. But, you know, just over the years, I guess, he didn't want me to be with anybody else. And I thought it was a joke. Like, he would always say, if you leave me, I'll kill you. Well, I laughed about it.
Yeah, he couldn't have been serious.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But that night, he's got the gun to your head. He did not kill you, but do you think he really intended to?
I think he was intending to kill me.
Yeah.
In the beginning, I kind of thought maybe he was just trying to disfigure me, but he wasn't. He was trying to kill me because he said that over the years. If you leave me, I'll kill you.
But you're here.
Yeah.
And so let's talk about that. I mean, God had a reason, right?
Yeah, he definitely had a reason. He definitely put some awesome people, nurses, doctors, in place for me, and it was hard in the beginning, and still is kind of hard with the holidays. I kind of get depressed. But
well, you miss your mom. I know.
Yeah, I do. She was like my best friend. So
Yeah.
Well, but she's got Mama Rainey here.
yeah, I got Mama Rainey, and the other mama is definitely an angel above watching over. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I know you have been, you know, very active with Voices for All in raising awareness about domestic violence, and like you say, Sister Rainey, you know, people, if they just knew, you know, they're not alone.
Yeah.
They're not alone. No.
So suggestions of where folks can call. Maybe they're listening and, I don't even know who to call.
Call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-SAFE. That's 1-800-799-7233.
Brooks Running has a new shoe for you runners out there. Did you hear that? Better turn up your volume. In fact, turn it up to the max. Introducing the all-new Ghost Max. It's got all kinds of things to make your knees and ankles feel protected, like Max Cushion, Max Soft Landings with DNA Loft V2 foam, and Max Smooth Rides with their Glide Roll Rocker. Feel better on your run with Ghost Max. Learn more at brooksrunning.com.
Here in Waco, we also have the Family Abuse Center,
Yes.
who was very active in my life in the beginning as well.
Yes.
And the Advocacy Center. I used to go there for homicide classes.
There are a lot of support
Mm-hmm.
for groups for people that are finding themselves in this situation.
But if you don't ask, you won't know. So you have to kind of ask questions. Do you know of a shelter? Do you know, what number I can call to get services? And so, yeah.
Well, and often, when there are children involved, that just complicates things.
Oh, yeah.
A lot.
A lot of women do stay because of the children.
Right. That's the financial support.
Mhm.
And I think they do that, and the women, I think they do that because they don't know any better.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know better, you don't do better.
Mm-hmm.
And if you know better, you do better. So that's the reason why we need, as elderly, as women, we need to express, we need to teach, we need to constantly teach them how to respect themselves, how to respect others,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of the color, regardless if you big, fat, ugly, cockeyed, whatever,
Well, and of course, kids, they learn what they see.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that's how that
Yeah.
cycle then
Yeah.
gets established.
And that was kind of like it with me. My dad was abusive to my mom, and it was our dirty little secret. Like, nobody talked about it. Nobody said, hey, Carolyn, you're not supposed to let a man hit you, or he's not supposed to do that. And maybe I would have known, I seen it. I wouldn't say that I thought it was normal, but I definitely knew what was going on with my mom and dad.
Yeah, those kind of patterns have to be broken.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they have to. They have to.
Yeah. So your faith, what has your faith meant to you through all this?
Whoa. I tell you what, before I got shot, I believed in God. I knew he existed, the power that he had. But when I got shot, and I had a out-of-body experience.
Did you?
Yeah, and it was like falling down a tunnel. It was dark, but the light was at the bottom of the tunnel. And when I was falling down this tunnel, I honestly, I felt the presence of God. He was there. And I also felt the presence of the devil. He was there.
Really?
And it was like, they're battling over my soul, like, who's going to get her? And in the midst of that, I just said, God, forgive me for all my sins. That's when I woke up. That's when I heard my mother. And that's why I still thought she was alive, because she was talking to me.
That's profound. That's profound.
Yeah.
Sister Rainey, it's a
Yes.
blessing to see you.
Yes,
I always
ma'am.
like to end these little visits with a questionnaire. It's similar to the one the late, great James Lipton used on Inside the Actor's Studio. But so I'm going to ask you both these questions. So just first thing kind of pops off the top of your head.
Oh,
and
my God.
I'm going to start with you, Carolyn.
Uh-oh.
What is your favorite word?
Okay.
Good.
I say that a lot.
Do you?
I do.
Okay. I
Yeah.
just did it. All right. Sister Rainey, what about you?
My favorite word, truly favorite word is love.
Yeah, that's a good one. What's your least favorite word?
Oh, gosh. I'm trying to think. It's a saying that everybody was, because everybody was saying it. I cannot remember what it was. I'm living my best life. So
you see that. So,
Yes,
so you're not on
everybody
board
was-
with that whole.
Everybody was living their best life. I'm like, well, what do I need to do? I want to live mine too.
Okay. What about you, Sister Rainey?
The least
Yeah, a word you just don't like.
I can't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hear that a lot from my guests. They don't
I
like that
can't.
negative kind of can't be
Yeah.
done
I can't
attitude.
be done, but it can be done.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. What turns you on creatively, spiritually, emotionally? I'll start with you, Sister Rainey.
What turns me on is when I see young people serving God and serving their country. I'm crazy about veterans.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I tell them, don't mess with my veterans. I don't care who they are.
You
Don't
can't. We
mess with
can't
my-
thank them
don't-
enough.
Don't mess with my children. I don't care. If I didn't give birth, they still mine because God put them on my plate.
Yep.
So don't mess with them, and I know something about it.
Okay.
So I love children and I love veterans.
All right. So what turns you on creatively or spiritually or emotionally?
I think what spiritually turns me on, and it's kind of crazy. My dog Landon. We are both survivors. He's had 2 slip discs. While we were in Houston, he got his leg wrapped around the lamp cord, and so, when I'm walking him, and I'm just like, wow, my dog is a survivor. I'm
Yeah.
a survivor. He made it. I made it. We're gonna be awesome.
Your story is exciting to me about how you are an overcomer. You truly are. I've seen some cute pictures of your puppy on
Oh, my
Facebook
God.
too.
He's a mess.
All right. So what turns you off creatively?
I think with dealing with the domestic violence field, when I ask women, to talk about it, and you want to go on the show or you want to do things, and they're ashamed, and I guess I don't understand being ashamed, because when I woke up in the hospital, it was like boom, cameras were on, and it was like, hey, Carolyn, pull it together, put a smile on, get it together.
Yeah. I mean, it really put you in a very prominent position.
Yeah.
This horrific thing that happened to you.
And people ask all the time, how did you get to meet all these people? How did you get to meet on these shows? And I'm trying to think of the gentleman that wrote the article in People magazine. I think when he dubbed me the woman without a face.
So he's the one that called you.
Yeah. And after that, it just kind of blew up because everybody wanted to know, like, why does she not have a face?
Yeah. But it did give that platform, really, for you to be able to tell your story.
Yes.
And Sister Rainey, for other women to go, hey, it could be really bad, and so what do I need to do to fix things?
Right.
So what turns you off creatively or spiritually, Sister Rainey?
When I see poverty,
Yeah.
people hungry, going through things, and especially when someone have parents, mother or father, and they don't appreciate them. They don't take care of them. They don't feed them.
And I see that a lot. Mama Rainey, when I see older or elderly people walking, I'm just like, they don't have no kids. They don't have no grandkids. It's just awful. And back then, you were able to pick people up and give people rides, but you just can't do that anymore.
Yeah, there's been, certainly with the pandemic, there's been a lot, even more isolation that's kind of been imposed on folks.
Yeah.
But like you say, you need to be proactive, call, check on people.
Yes. Regardless, even if they are not old, just somebody next door. Because people next door be going through things and you don't even realize.
Yeah, you have to check.
You know,
yeah,
you have
you
to
don't
be.
know.
Long time ago, they were called. Well, now they call it nosy.
Yeah.
You just nosy. Yes, I am. I'm concerned about you.
Yeah.
But you know what? My neighbor downstairs, and when I first moved in those apartments, that's what they called her, the nosy neighbor. Like, she had the blinds with the crack. You know what I'm saying? That's how often she looked out that you could see a crack in the blind. But if it wasn't for the nosy neighbor, I don't think 911 would have came.
Right.
Because she called 911.
She heard that gunshot.
Yeah.
Actually, one of the bullets, she lives downstairs. So he was just like doing a random shot or something, and it went down into her apartment.
Wow.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she had just got up off the couch. Thank God it didn't hit her.
My goodness. What sound do you love the most, Carolyn?
You know what? I'm a big music fan. I like the sound of music.
Mm-hmm.
I like the sound of when I've done a speech and I get down and I'm like, "What? How was the speech?" And they like, "We really liked it. It was really good and informative." So, yeah, those things.
Mm-hmm. All right, Sister Rennie, what sound do you love?
I love music, and I also like the sound of praise.
Yeah.
Praise.
Mm-hmm.
And just the sound, if you just say Jesus, if you say it too many times, you're going to begin to feel it. And that feeling is just love.
Yeah.
So I enjoy that.
Mm-hmm. What's your least favorite sound?
Gunshots.
Oh, gosh. Oh, my word.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because it was really scary when I came home. Everybody thought that I should get a firearm because of what had happened in the past with this other young lady. And I would go to the indoor range we had here. I don't know if it's still here. I'd go there. And then I also took Johnny Price, I think. He has a class that goes on at Uncle Dan's. I'm sorry. Yeah, so I took that class.
So you did take a firearms class, but you don't like the sound of gunshots. What about you, Sister Rennie? Your least favorite sound?
The least favorite sound is I don't like the sound of the word of someone telling me that they are hungry. Because either just saying it, I have a habit of feeding, giving. And I try to follow in God's footsteps because God, He gave. They asked me at dialysis, I cooked for about 36 of them, nurses and doctors, so I always give them food and cook them. And they say, "Mom, why you always doing that?" I say, "I like it." I said, God gave. He gave us His only begotten Son. So I like giving.
Right. Oh, I was on the receiving end many times. I'd be on the air doing TV news and have a head cold. And the next thing I know, there'd be a basket of oatmeal cookies. Because that's my comfort food.
Yeah.
And Sister Rainey's taking care of me. She's taking care of me.
Yeah.
What profession would you like to have tried that you maybe
I
didn't?
would have liked to continued on with my alcohol and drug abuse counseling.
Yeah.
That I was taking at MCC. I would have loved to finish that.
What job do you know you wouldn't want to do?
I wouldn't want to scoop up poop.
You have a dog.
I know. That's why I said that.
All right, Sister Rainey, is there a profession you would have liked to have tried your hand at?
Well, I guess I really have done that because I like speaking. I like doing my poems.
Yeah.
I like ministering to other people. Speaking as a missionary, I would like to have been able to go out a little bit more, but He set me down and put people around to who I need to reach. So yeah, I'm pleased.
You're doing. Is there any job you wouldn't want to do?
I wouldn't want to be the president.
Right.
That's definitely
very
a good one.
All right, last question. What do you want to hear God say to you when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Carolyn, I am proud of you. Come on in. Everybody's waiting on you.
Well, when the gate swings open, I would like for him to look at me and say, well done, my good and faithful servant.
Right.
Amen.
Come on in.
Sister Ann Rainey, thank you so
Thank
much.
you
It is a
much.
joy to see you
Yes,
again.
yes.
And Carolyn, I'm just in awe of you. I really am, and appreciate so much our friendship and what all you're doing, and anxious to see what happens in the coming days.
Oh, it's going to be amazing. It's already starting, so I'm excited. I'm not even in Houston yet.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Central Texas Living is part of the Rogue Media Network family. Be sure to check out their other shows at roguemedianetwork.com. Please rate us 5 stars on iTunes and anywhere else you get your podcasts. Join us again soon for more Central Texas Living, the podcast.
Hello, and thank you for tuning into KNOW Waco. I am your host, Debbie, here to help you get in the know about Waco. So you may be asking yourself, why am I here? I'm here to be your tour guide through Waco. I'm here to tell you all the goings-on in and around Waco. I'm going to give you the 411 on what's happening, what's going on, and what events you should go to. This is your host, Debbie, signing off. Now that you know, go. Just go, Waco.
You are going on a run.
Are you building a new business while managing a family? Are you tired of trying to balance home and work and everything seems to be coming up short? Then there's a podcast made just for you. Baking Your Business from Scratch is where we create the perfect recipe for building a successful business while managing your home and family with love. Come join us and see for yourself.
This has been Rogue Media Network Podcast.